Okay, everyone, welcome. We're so excited. This is our very first BFCM webinar. I think it's going to be more of a masterclass because we have three incredible e-com leaders on with us from three very diverse brands, all Rebuy customers, and all have really proven their worth in the field, working in D2C and e-com. And we're so excited to have them again. They graced our stage at our Momentum event in San Diego earlier this year, and now they're back to give us some more of their advice and wisdom about what to expect this upcoming BFCM season. I'm so excited to have them all here, starting with Kira. How are you doing, Kira?
I'm doing great. So excited to be back with this really awesome group. I'm Kira and I lead digital product and CRO at Magic Spoon. I focus on optimizing our Shopify site and general experience to drive subscription growth, AOV, and overall conversion. Everything from A/B testing and bundling flows to fixing site bugs and working with our engineers is my day-to-day.
And moving on to Emma. Emma, how are you doing from sunny California right now?
So great. So happy to be with this awesome team again. I'm Emma Hughes. I lead our retention and lifecycle marketing at Momofuku Goods. So I cover some web experience and CRO expansion, but also email and SMS marketing. So a lot of full funnel content through BFCM and a lot of sends throughout Q4. So excited to speak to that element as well.
Amazing. And finally, last but certainly not least, and in fact, the tallest of us all on this entire webinar, Kate, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Kate. I work for Dime Beauty Co. as the digital product lead. My job is very similar to Kira's. I do end-to-end everything on our site, our mobile app, all of our functionality, and just making sure everything flows smoothly through our website. I'm also 6'2".
That's amazing. I am 5'2", and I'm always so impressed with tall people. I just want to put it out there. So I'm sorry if I act like a fangirl whenever I'm around you in person, but come on, 6'2", that's incredible. So we've all been in the business a long time. I'm sure all of you have a long history with Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And for anyone who's asking, no, it's not too soon to be preparing for this. It's barely August over here, but we got to get on the jump, right? And make those plans. I want to hear from all of you to kick off this. What's one piece of advice that you'd give to someone who's running their very first BFCM this year?
I can start. I think the key to running a successful BFCM is planning and testing. So make sure you've tested whatever promo configuration you're planning on launching 100 times. This is your chance to get it right, and you want to make sure the functionality is fully locked in.
Definitely want to echo the planning. Preparation makes everything move a lot smoother. But I would also say, especially for first timers, keep your promotions simple. If you find that it is difficult for you to explain how the promotion works to a customer in more than one sentence, how do you simplify it? That's going to improve your chance of higher conversion. It will also simplify all of your messaging across the site, email, SMS. So keep it to something that customers can easily understand visually and through copy.
Such great advice, Kate. Any words of wisdom here?
I mean, Emma and Kira covered it. Keep it simple and test your functionality 100 times. And if you think it's working, try it again. Make sure, just test it again.
Yes. And I think that that's something that, all throughout the year, so many of us are hyper aware of every single link and every single image. And this is the time, unfortunately, where it's all hands on deck, clicking those links and every single test email that goes out, right? So it gets tedious, but it's worth it. So let's start with this. I love the idea of jumping into this like very well in advance with a very rigid planning schedule. When do all of you start planning for BFCM, and what does that first sort of phase look like? All of you are in different departments across your brands, but all of you pretty much are going to be in the trenches, strategically figuring out like, what are we going to do? Who's it going to apply for? How long are we going to run these, promos or discounts or whatever it may be? What does that first stage of planning look like for each of you? Emma, let's start with you.
Ideally, obviously our years are really busy throughout, but ideally we're starting in July and August. And the top two priorities for me as someone who manages the overall campaign and communications is locking down that promo schedule and locking down bundles. I'll talk about bundles a lot today. It's definitely our biggest tool, not just for holiday, but year round. But it's important for us to lock in our product offerings early because there are implications to so many other teams. So focusing on the main product offerings we have to make sure the design team has time to get assets, photography, and also to give our operations team enough time to plan for the busiest season of the year to make sure we're efficient in fulfilling all of these orders. So goal to look at that. And then if we are uncertain about some of those product offerings, this is the time to survey our loyalists and folks who have purchased previously during BFCM to get a gauge of what they want to see.
So for us at Dime, we are most always planning Black Friday ideas and content kind of all year long. When we're thinking about things, we're throwing out, okay, could we use this for Black Friday as well? And then things evolve as the year goes on, and we try to keep that in mind when we're looking ahead and just say, this is our idea, let's keep it agile, we'll keep it moving, but if something comes up and we need to pivot, we have the ability to do that. Echoing Emma, where we keep ops very much involved because we are looking at ordering stock, keeping things in stock. If we're close to expiry on things or if we're overstocked on things, can we juice up our, BFCM promo with those items?
Yes, very similar to Kate. We're thinking about BFCM year round. We even have some version of a dedicated Slack channel where we're monitoring different sales that are happening throughout the year that spark inspiration for this period. And then in terms of actual tactical planning, a lot of that is happening right now in the summer period. So to echo a lot of what Emma said and being really prepared in advance for our operation and our creative teams, from a marketing standpoint, the ultimate goal is to have all of our offer details locked down by end of summer so we can move into that creative development phase.
Emma, I know you went first in this question, but you mentioned seeing that most gifting purchases happen are after BFCM, which is something I think we're all seeing a lot of, where instead of it just being this one weekend or these two big days, we're seeing that extend well into December, sometimes right up to the end of that holiday season. How do you use the insight there to adjust your December calendar? And what are the channels or messagings that are driving that biggest lift for you?
Definitely. So this was an interesting learning from our post-purchase surveying when we looked at November through beginning of January, really, that we didn't see the spike of customers who were purchasing Momofuku as a gift until well after BFCM weekend and into December. So it allows me to separate and tailor our messaging throughout that entire period. So it starts in November. I'm able to target more of our loyalist, high-value customers who are big cooks, probably hosting a lot that season. So they are stocking up their pantries for themselves, but also stocking up to host lots of folks during that time. So catering VIP early access promos to them, getting early share of wallet. And after BFCM, we can really target in on the gifting messages, which just helps simplify PDPs, smart cart rec copy, email, and SMS. So in December, I'm tailoring the way we speak to our bundles to talk to the type of people who we think you should buy this bundle for, whether it's spice preference, people who are new to cooking, or some of the experts, so we can make that decision easier for those gift givers. And then catering the experience across the site using Rebuy smart cart recs for best gifts under $30 to make it really easy to find our most giftable offerings. And occasionally we'll add even a post-purchase upsell for a chili crunch stocking stuffer. So making sure it's continuing throughout the entire purchase experience. But December, we're really locking in on those gift givers and also driving them to Amazon once they get a little bit too close to the holidays, but can continue purchasing Momofuku for the people they want.
I love that. And I love just thinking about how many people are pausing this right now to go make a note about Chili Crunch stocking stuffers. Like just like, oh yeah, we're also doing double duty here on this. Remind people of what they can purchase for gifts. But I love that you think about this so deeply about who your audience is, because you have these sort of two forks. You have the consumer, the person who's going to be using that Chili Crunch, and you have the gifter, someone who's thinking forward about who they're gifting to. And Kate, it's sort of the same for you. You have to really know your audience, where they're coming from, how they're purchasing. You actually do two Black Fridays at Dime. Can you walk us through how you segment those offers between the early shoppers, the last minute buyers, and how also Amazon and Ultra strategies support that whole initiative?
Yeah, so both of those have different behaviors and different needs. So for our early shoppers, they typically start early November, and we focus on those people who are planning ahead, who are deal savvy. Our messaging is emphasizing early access and exclusive limited time offers like different bundles. Um, we also we launch our curated gift sets about in September, but we don't start promoting them or really calling them out until November, as well as putting our like big bundles on promotional pricing just to get that momentum going. And then the closer we get to Thanksgiving and Cyber Week and Cyber Monday and BFCM, we shift our messaging more towards urgency and convenience. These people are looking for fast shipping, things that they could get in store, which is where we come in with Ulta. So a lot of our offers will highlight like free shipping or free fast shipping. We'll do stocking stuffers, universal gifting items for people who are just those last minute people who are like, oh, I still need to get, so and so this, or I still need to get so and so this. And then on Amazon, we will lean into performance marketing and search visibility during both of those phases. And that just helps us keep that momentum with Amazon all the way up until the very last minute. And then for Ulta, we are online and in store. So we coordinate with their promotional calendar to align our offers. And we target early shoppers with email and app features. And then more last minute people, they have the ability to do like buy online and pick up in store. Or if they're just in there, we have a lot of little like grab and go sets, really easy things for them to just pick up for people.
I love that. And I love really understanding data. Data is such a big part of BFCM. I mean, experimenting is probably the biggest part and trying new things, but data tells the story all the time, whether those things worked or whether we should pivot. Kira, for you, I know you launched your holiday limited time offer before BFCM last year. I don't remember exactly when, but it was well ahead of schedule. How did that timing impact conversion, and what did you learn about the balance between novelty and discounting and all of that?
Yeah, speaking of data, there were a lot of really strong and clear learnings that bringing up our holiday seasonal limited cereal flavor launch up before BFCM was the right strategic move in 2024, and definitely something that we're planning to repeat as we head into 2025. So prior to last year, we would launch what initially was the flavor sugar cookie in December, and we saw that adding that launch period before the peak BFCM just helped to build momentum on our sale overall, as our paid and retention teams were able to leverage the limited messaging in their creative to kind of build even more excitement for the sale as a whole. And then in terms of site merchandising, we utilized the novelty and the limited offer of that flavor by incorporating the sugar cookie flavor in some high AOV, high discounted bundles on site. And we were able to see that the bundles that included this novelty flavor were among the top 3 of all of the BFCM merchandising that we had on site. So that was really exciting to see. And as we plan for 2025, we've just been thinking through how can we play on that novelty of seasonality a bit more in a way that you wouldn't kind of expect Magic Spoon to show up. And a project that we've taken on, which isn't as directly tied to BFCM, but I'm certain that we'll see some bump from, is our organic team. Our organic social team actually launched a campaign earlier this year to tap into our community and have customers have the ability to design their own box. And that design is what we'll be featuring on this year's holiday LTO, which just gives us the ability to tap into that story across all of our channels and kind of break up the noise of this busy sales period from a completely different angle.
And Kira, also your A/B test with the mystery add-on at Rebuy saw a 10% conversion lift. I just have to say too, I am like the most basic girly consumer out there in the world, and mystery add-on is one of my favorite things. Whenever I see it, it's so silly, but it's like there's something very whimsical about it, right? And so I think you always think like from the consumer standpoint, is this weird? Is it a turn off, whatever? But the reality is most consumers they really like engaging in stuff like this, which you're seeing from your conversion lift. How are you now evolving in that post-purchase flow based on that win in particular and implementing that last year?
Yeah, absolutely. I Post-purchase was really a low-hanging fruit for us when I think about BFCM 2024 and all of the legwork that we've done to optimize that widget and placement in the first half of this year is gonna really pay off during some of these high traffic periods like BFCM. So you mentioned the mystery variant, which is what we're currently running as our active control, but it was a little bit of a path to get there, and I think it's helpful to provide some insight as to what the optimization path looks like for a widget like this. We initially started with a small accessory add-on item at a fairly low price, saw very flat conversion, and weren't really doing much optimization to the widget in general. And then we tested some of the newer rebuy features by using like a product comparison item to say if they have this item in their cart, let's get them a complementary item. And we saw some really strong improvement with showing the product alone. And then we kind of tweaked that model to add in the mystery creative. And that's where conversion rate really popped off, and we saw the huge lift. So we'll be continuing to test different variants against that leading up to BFCM. But if that remains our control, we'll definitely be tweaking the mystery creative to really speak to the moment that is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and just really encourage all of the webinar viewers to get your hands dirty with post purchase. It's not to be underestimated. There's a lot you can do there.
Okay, I want to go back to one of the things that Emma said at the top of this. Emma, you mentioned bundles with a key purpose or an ideal person to gift to. What is your framework for designing those bundles? They're both giftable but conversion friendly for two sets of buyers.
Definitely. These bundles with strong savings are our biggest drivers for the holiday season, but also year round. It's what differentiates a lot of D2C brands from their retail business if they have it. But also tying back to my one piece of advice is keep it simple. So I'd say to start, we don't want to overwhelm the customers, right? I think there are times where we could have maybe too many offerings. It's hard to navigate on the site. So for us, we keep a lot of our traffic geared towards a landing page where we'll have 4 to 6 bundles. The ideal number of bundles, I think, depends on the number of products you have and the versatility you have of combining them. But for us, this has been really key. So I try to focus on adding something new without really reinventing your entire strategy, right? Especially if you're already using bundles year round. But the key components for us, making sure we include complementary products. So we've talked about this at Momentum, but for us, making sure customers purchase from more than one category greatly increases their chance of returning. And we know in BFCM, we're bringing in a ton of new customers. So making sure we're including in the bundles products that work really well together. Second, we want to target a range of price points, right? Not everyone has the same share of wallet that they're willing to dedicate to your brand. So how do you provide a variety of options? But for us, we really like to make our most expensive option have the highest savings. Those are are really for our loyalists, but a great way to drive that higher AOV. And on a fun note of some of these customer preferences, right? Personalization is really key when it comes to not only D2C, but gifting. As someone who loves to give gifts, spice level preferences is something we think about. So making sure we always have a bundle for folks who don't like spice, since we know there's a huge market for that, and also confidence in the kitchen. So how can you message a bundle as something that is easy for first-time cooks, or maybe that college student you have in your life, or folks who really love noodles, and this is the way you can elevate your bowl. So it's all in that messaging. Sometimes the bundle itself doesn't look incredibly different from one another, but it's how you cater it and how you speak to the customer of how this can be used. And finally, easy way to spice up a bundle for the holiday is merch, some novelty merch. And what we found has worked really well for us is merch that works in tandem with our products. So for us, with noodles, we focus on chopsticks. We have a chili crunch spoon. And last year we launched an engraved noodle bowl that was very simple, but by only including the bowl in bundles versus selling individually, we drove a ton of conversion towards those bundles specifically, and it required pretty low lift on our end.
I love it. And Kate, Dime Beauty is in the bundle business as well. I think bundles do really, really well for any beauty wellness brand. And I will say too, for another amazing stocking stuffer, that discovery set at Dime Beauty, it's a pre-built little bundle for you, right? How are you evolving your bundles this year to better suit the giftability or drive higher average order value?
Yeah, last year was actually our first year doing the like holiday gifts, like little sets that come pre-packaged together. So we're really leaning into that this year. We've elevated all of our packaging. We have cohesive themes across everything, clear product storytelling, and then we're making it easy for shoppers to find the perfect gift without overthinking it. So we have a couple of different sets that we have curated. We have one that's Ulta exclusive. We have one that'll be on our D2C. We do things around like in our menu, we'll offer like gifts under 50, gifts under 100, gifts under, gifts for her, gifts for him, just making it really, really clear where the gifts are, how to get them. And it just makes it super seamless for the customer to get there. As far as increasing our AOV, with us, we've found that GWPs work really, really well for our brand and for our customers. So we generally go the route of spend X, get X gift. Sometimes we'll do tiers where you can spend X, get one gift, or you can spend X and get a better gift. So that really helps us push that AOV up.
Is there anybody who doesn't want the better gift? I mean, again, I'm just calling back my own basicness, but my gosh, you've got me hooked on that, right? Better gift, absolutely. I'll spend more.
Echoing Emma, we also got more into branded merch this year. So we did like a branded facial roller. We have been doing sweatshirts. We are doing another fun little thing that I can't say yet, coming next month or September. And we're doing just a few fun branded items that go with product launches, but also go with our current assortment of products that we have to elevate those and bring those to more people.
I think brand merch like that is really underrated from like a consumer level, especially when it's something that whoever you're gifting to, like that is one of their brands. That's one of their logos that they love. That's something that you can always count on that they have and they use and they love. Something branded, I think, is fun, and it's a brilliant way to add on to that post-purchase experience. So we're going to dive into data here for the next few questions. I love data. I think it informs so many of our best experiences and ideas that we come up with. Emma, you mentioned mirroring sign up units and welcome flows with promotions starting November 1. I want to know what impact that's had on email list growth and conversions maybe in Q4 as the year goes on.
Definitely. So between BFCM 2023 and 2024, I started testing this strategy throughout other consumption occasions throughout the year, like Memorial Day. where whatever promo we were running across the site, which we include normal levers, homepage hero, announcement bar, I was also reflecting that in our sign up unit, which was tied to a personalized welcome flow promoting the sale, and also adjusting some of our abandonment flows to echo it, add some of the FOMO, let them know that there's currently a sale happening that they don't want to miss out. And it really just adds to the experience to make sure we have multiple touch points outside of just the campaigns we're sending out to really make a difference. And what we saw was a great impact to not only revenue conversion, but sign up or email conversion and new to list for email and SMS. So in 2024, we tried to be a bit more aggressive with this during BFCM. So starting November 1st, we begin our promotions with our higher saving bundles. So my first sign up unit is directed towards this part of the promotion, which is pretty simple. I'm echoing a product that is readily available on the site, but it's amazing how much that reminder that comes from the sign up unit to the welcome flow and the abandonment flow really makes a difference. And what we saw comparing November and December 2024 to 2023 is that by adding these mirrored sign up units, we had a 73% boost to new to list for both email and SMS, which is massive, right? Q4 is a quarter where you're probably spending the most on Meta, you're driving the most new customers to your site. So your traffic is already exponentially higher than what you're seeing year round. And then you're able to boost your conversion rate on your sign up units. It makes a huge difference. And then Q1, you're retargeting these folks. So if I have any advice for life cycle retention marketers on this call, definitely make sure your sign up units, your welcome flow are always reflecting your promo. Even if you don't think it's your strongest promo, I think you'd be very surprised at what the redundancy and the further touch points can do outside of that campaign. Also start adding some touch points in the abandonment flow. If you have too many emails you need to create, I would recommend cart abandonment, right? They're middle of the road, and they're ready to make a purchase more or less. Remind them that this is their time to access the sale that is existed in their cart right now and get them to purchase. You'll see really great results.
I think that's so smart to run tests like that, starting right in the middle of it, right in the thick of it, right? And then just see how it goes. It's so hard to be patient when we're running experiments, when we're running tests, but you're right. Like they do pay off, sometimes slower than we expect, sometimes faster with the drop off, but you never know unless you try, unless you start saying like, what do we want to experiment on? What do we want to test? What do we want to measure? And then iterate on. Kira, what's a test that you ran earlier this year that you think is going to help amplify performance during BFCM? Or how else are you adjusting the site experience to capitalize on any of your testing?
Yeah, I want to go back to something Emma mentioned earlier in the call and actually at Momentum as well, is just the lifetime value that we see of a customer who tries multiple product lines is that much higher. So we're aiming to tailor our site experience around that behavior. And what's really exciting for me as we head into BFCM 2025 comparatively to last year is that we have a whole new product line at Magic Spoon, which is our new high protein granola. Highly recommend you give it a try if you haven't yet. And last year, when you only have two product lines, there's a limited number of ways that you can nudge that higher basket size, and unlocking a third category has really done a ton in terms of what I'm able to test on site in order to encourage that behavior. So one example right now, we're testing a feature on our bundle builder that's a visual tracker that kind of checks off which of the categories the customer has included in their cart and gives you a kind of verbal copy indicator to say maybe try another category, build your breakfast pantry. And the early results that we're seeing on that test are really strong. And I'm excited to continue optimizing around buy more, save more ahead of BFCM. And like you mentioned, Sarah, we're testing all year long different site features so that way we can have the best experience during this high traffic moment and get the most LTV out of those new customers that we acquire during this time.
Kate, for Dime, personalization is so big in the beauty space, in the skincare space, in the cosmetic space. How is Dime using customer preferences and reviews to personalize experiences this year, and doing that without adding too much overhead, right? Or too many tests we don't want to do.
Yeah, definitely don't want to do too many at once. For us at Dime, we leverage a lot of product review data and top rated items um, by either use case, skin type, or customer, or like the customer's goal. And that allows us to give them their tailored recommendations without doing too many rules or too many steps on our side. So it gives us the ability to do like most loved for dry skin across email, product pages, and socials. And then we're using preference signals from past purchasers or browsing behavior to build dynamic bundles or recommend replenishments, especially in skincare. Replenishments is a really big deal for us because if we can get someone on a subscription, that builds our LTV. I mean, that our LTV soars as soon as we can get somebody onto a subscription, and then subscriptions are very important for us. So instead of using complex segmentation, we use rule-based personalization, simple logic, like if they bought X, show Y, and then we can automate that in our backend. We integrate customer language from reviews into our product descriptions and our campaign copy. This is going to resonate more with people, and it's going to improve discoverability and conversion.
Okay, all of you have given us such good advice and really showed your wisdom and showed your expertise here. I cannot thank you enough. But let's get into like the reality of BFCM. It's a crazy time, right? And all of us have been through or even seen like people make mistakes. Sometimes things don't go as well as we hoped, and experiments are not so great. I want to hear from all of you. What's one thing that you'll never do again during BFCM, or something that was a lesson learned the hard way?
I can go first on that. So when I was working at a previous company, not to be named, we had an issue where we had thought that if we set products, like scheduled products that were in draft to go live, that they would activate and go live. However, that is not the case. So all of our limited edition items that we pulled from the vault to put on sale for Black Friday didn't go live when they were supposed to. And we had cut like hundreds of thousands of customers sitting on the site, emailing us, posting on socials, asking us where these were. Did they sell out already? Nightmare situation.
And of course, it's going to your support team, not your marketing team, and they don't know, and no one knows. And oh my gosh.
Not until you get a text from the CEO that says, what's going on?
I'll go next, and this kind of ties into a lot of what Emma has spoken to throughout our time today. Just the offer needs to be simple. If you can't figure out how to apply it, it's not going to work for your customers. So I would definitely make sure that the least smart person that you know can apply the promo. And if not, maybe it's time to pivot.
This definitely ties into planning, but not changing your offer, I would say within 2 to 3 weeks of BFCM, knowing there are so many teams and involved. As someone with an in-house email creative team, definitely need to lock in your plan early and really stick to it. This is more just for everyone's sanity. I think the 2 weeks leading up, we're testing, just making sure every single link works. Something I will never not do again is send every single promo email preview to your CX manager so they know exactly what folks are replying to and they know exactly how to help. So do your part to make sure everyone else is less stressed during BFCM week.
Yes, please. As an advocate for customer experience, please tell them what you're telling customers. Please let them know well in advance. It will save everybody so much stress. Okay, so if you could only run one type of promo for BFCM forever, site-wide percent off or limited time offer or bundles, maybe, what are you picking? I think this is a good one to hear because everybody has different customer bases, right? Everyone's done the data work, but everyone wants to experiment a little bit more. What do you all think for your specific customer base is like the most effective thing? If that's the only thing you could do, that's it.
I have a quick answer, and I think I'd lean into the site-wide percent off, just because it helps you to cut through the noise. There's so many sales happening at this time. Everyone's fighting to promote a higher percentage off number. You need something quick and compelling to grab the customer's attention.
I agree with Kira. I would also do site-wide percent off.
I feel like I want to switch it up and say bundles, but ideally I love all three for many different reasons. But we're going to switch it up and say bundles.
I love bundles. Bundles are hot this year, you guys. I'm just putting it out there. Rebuy's Bundle Builder launched a couple months ago, and it's been fantastic to see brands adopting it and having so much success out the gate.
We are actually implementing our bundle builder this month. Well, the month end.
Okay.
But we are implementing our bundle builder this month. And so hopefully we are going to be able to get a lot of really good insights on what our customers are already bundling together to help us prep our bundles and see if we want to change anything or up the ante on our bundles for the upcoming BFCM season.
We'll drop a link in this too for the bundle builder masterclass that we did showing the tips and tricks around that. Okay, last question. This is a final way to show your expertise going into BFCM. What is your go-to snack or coffee order or survival kit, the thing that keeps you alive for that amazing 4 days coming up?
As a food and beverage gal, there will be so much coffee during BFCM, a lot of cold brew, but as a way to treat myself during that weekend, I try to pick a coffee shop that I love to check in on email performance and Shopify performance. So find a coffee shop with a Wi-Fi and try a fun seasonal latte on their menu as a sweet treat.
I love that answer, Emma. As much as I am a coffee girl, I'm also a Diet Coke gal. So we'll be keeping some fresh cans of DC available alongside a Magic Spoon protein bar, of course, to keep me through, and then just a comfy spot on the couch because I'm usually traveling during BFCM and pulling out the laptop for a lot of that weekend. So place to hunker down.
Yeah, definitely bringing my laptop with me everywhere I go in a backpack and a purse of some kind. And then there's always coffee and snacks, berries, ice cream, really whatever I can get my hands on at that point. I'm stress eating all weekend.
You guys are all so close, but the correct answers are the Dime Beauty Discovery Kit, the Sugar Cookie Magic Spoon, and the Momofuku Chili Crunch. Everyone should have that in their arsenal for BFCM. Okay, we're gonna wrap there. That was amazing. Okay, thank you all.